When you do a quick Google search on Boeing, this is what pops up. For decades, Boeing has been synonymous with aviation prowess, from pioneering commercial jets to military aircraft that have shaped global geopolitics. But beneath the facade of success lies a trail of scandals and missteps that have rocked the company to its core, a turbulent history, marred by greed, negligence, and tragic consequences. Let's rewind to the early days, when Boeing was just a fledgling aircraft manufacturer. In the 1950s and 60s, the company rose to prominence with the development of iconic aircraft like the 707 and the 747, ushering in a new era of air travel. But as Boeing's influence grew, so too did its appetite for profit, often at the expense of safety. One of the darkest chapters in Boeing's history unfolded in the 1980s and 90s with the introduction of the 737. To cut costs and compete with European rivals, Boeing decided to re-engineer the aging aircraft rather than design a new one from scratch. This decision would come back to haunt them in the most tragic way imaginable. In two separate accidents, pilots lost control of their aircraft due to a sudden and unexpected rudder movement, and the resulting crashes killed everyone on board, 157 people in total. And this still was just the beginning. In July 2003, the U.S. Air Force stripped Boeing of $1 billion in potential revenue as a penalty for obtaining documents stolen from its rival Lockheed Martin during a contract competition for military satellites. Just 10 years later, several incidents of lithium-ion battery fires on Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft led to a worldwide grounding of the fleet and a significant setback for the innovative aircraft program. Fast forward to 2018, when Boeing unveiled the 737 MAX, billed as the future of air travel with its fuel efficiency and advanced technology. But behind the scenes, corners had been cut, safety protocols ignored, all in the name of rushing the aircraft to market. The consequences were catastrophic. In October 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 189 people on board. Just 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 suffered a similar fate, claiming the lives of 157 passengers and crew. Investigations revealed a fatal flaw in the aircraft's design, known as the MCS system, which automatically pushed the plane's nose down, leading to both crashes.
Revealed Boeing employees were concerned about safety before the accidents, and the company was determined to oppose regulators. Another employee wrote, "This airplane is designed by clowns who in turn are supervised by monkeys."
The fallout was swift and damning. Boeing's reputation laid in tatters as regulators grounded the 737 MAX fleet worldwide, and the company faced intense scrutiny from Congress and the media. But the turmoil was far from over. As lawsuits piled up and families mourned their loved ones, Boeing found itself embroiled in a crisis of leadership and accountability. CEO Dennis Muilenburg was forced to resign amidst mounting pressure, leaving the company adrift in a sea of uncertainty. In 2024, after decades of controversy, safe to say the turmoil and scandals continue to rage on.
That missing door plug from the Alaska Airlines flight has been recovered. The gaping hole forced the plane to make an emergency landing.
I'm curious, when you saw the video of this plane flying with a big gaping hole in the side, what was your reaction?
This was no surprise, unfortunately. I know it's stunning for passengers, but for those of us who've been monitoring what's been going on for a while with the MAX, it really wasn't a surprise, sadly.
Mr. Calhoun, what's your message to passengers concerned about flying on your planes?
We fly safe planes.
And then there's John Barnett, a Boeing whistleblower. A journalist from the Time published an article covering the polarizing topic. Let's take a look, shall we? The 62-year-old, who had worked at Boeing for over 3 decades as a quality control engineer and manager until his retirement in 2017, has for the past few years been outspoken about his skepticism of the company's safety standards, which have come under heightened scrutiny in recent months, amid a series of high-profile malfunctions on Boeing planes. Barnett told the BBC that workers at one Boeing factory had been deliberately fitting faulty parts to planes to meet production deadlines, and that oxygen masks on the 787 Dreamliner had a 1 in 4 chance of failing during an emergency. Barnett said he had alerted Boeing managers as well as the FAA to the concerns, but that no action had been taken. Boeing denied his allegations, though it acknowledged that an inspection in 2017 found that some oxygen bottles were in fact not deploying properly. John Barnett was supposed to answer questions on Saturday as part of a deposition he'd been giving earlier last week related to a legal dispute with his former employer Boeing, which has been dogged by safety concerns, some of which he had raised. But he didn't show up. When his legal team called him repeatedly to no avail, they eventually asked the hotel he was staying at to check in on him. That's when Barnett was found dead in his truck in the parking lot. This has sparked one of the biggest scandals perhaps since Epstein, with people questioning, was there foul play involved? Suicide or murder? The Charleston County Coroner's Office told Time that Barnett died from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and that the Charleston Police Department is continuing to investigate the death. And then you got a revealing call.
Safety, because I asked him, I said, "Aren't you scared?" And he said, and his voice and the way he would talk, "No, I ain't scared." He said, "But if anything happens to me, it's not suicide." You know, I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way. He loved life too much. He loved his family too much. He loved his brothers too much to put them through what they're going through right now.
And he basically told you not to believe it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
In a one-sentence statement to Time, Boeing said, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends." As Boeing struggles to regain its footing, questions linger about the company's commitment to safety and ethics. Can Boeing overcome its dark past and rebuild trust with passengers and regulators? Or will there be an uprising against a company that has left so much destruction and despair? Only time will tell.